Coach.
Today's a great day to go out and make some money. Is Omar on yet?
No, sir. I'm looking for him right now.
He's probably coming back from the bank. And I showed a picture the other day of a Brinks truck. I said, "You want to see Omar's new car?" And the guy said, "Really?" But my grandson said to me the other day, he asked me a question. Why did you get into financial services? We all asked that question. And I said, I didn't. I went to make money, and I discovered that the best way to make the most money is financial services. You got the point I'm making? Then he said, your company is so unique in the way it builds and creates, through recruiting and building. Why did you get into the recruiting building business? I said, I didn't. I got into a way to make the most money, and it happened to be in financial services, recruiting, building, creating RVPs. I didn't get into a career. That's how we're born and bred to get into a career with a profession, with a skill, with a talent. I didn't want any of that. I tried that at the steel company, and I was broke. And so we have to define the mentality. Why are you here? And most people, I love financial services. I love helping people. I love what we do. I love the FNA. I love helping people right wrongs and correct injustices. Good for you. That doesn't mean you'll make any money. We have had tens of millions of people come into this company because they love doing that, and 3-5 months later, they're gone. And I was thinking while I was walking this morning how we do a Bible study once a week, and the word for next week is works. And we're supposed to, in John, the book of John, he talks about having fruit. Your fruit's got to show. What is your fruit? I'm making money. Well, that's got nothing to do with works. Well, the reason I'm making money is because I'm doing works. The reason I'm making money is because it's the fruit of my labor by serving other people. Once we get past, I love what I do, I want to do something I enjoy doing, we can finally be released to making all the money we're capable of making. But we're in the business for the wrong reasons. I can tell you this, your spouse doesn't care what you do as long as you bring home money. Your children don't care what you do as long as you bring home money. Most people, they've got these particulars. I've got to enjoy it. I've got to like it. It's got to help other people. I've got to work up with a passion. And 74% of all Americans are disengaged at their jobs because they went to a job not for the money, because I like doing what I'm doing. In a matter of months or maybe a couple of years, they're not making enough money and they get disenchanted. It's not what I thought. 40% of all lawyers don't want to be lawyers anymore. It's not what they thought. It's not like it is on TV. 35% of all principals in high school went out. It's not what they thought. Ministers went out because it's not what they thought. But when you go into it, I got to love it. I've got to like it. I've got to know it. Boy, I got in here for the money. I know, condemn me for it, judge me for it. And I found the best way to make money is by serving other people through financial services using Art Williams' system of creating RVPs. This is the best way to make money. Art Williams, you have to understand this. Art Williams, the buy term invest the rest sounds good, but by itself, it would have died. You put a financial package together with it, and it went crazy. You take away 50% of the money we're making and people are leaving, going to find another opportunity. Not as good as the value we bring to other people. So anyway, hope you got that. Is Omar on?
I am right here, and I agree with every word you just said, of course.
Well, again, Omar, I want to start out today. We're going to have a little PowerPoint in a few seconds. Thank you, Tony, again. But, you know, and you and I have talked about this, how A.L. Williams, Waddell, our company, is a culture. And I got a quote from John Addison. It said, culture eats strategy for lunch. And what you built down there, what are they doing? I think Willie really showed this on the closing night of the convention. The culture he has created, and that culture basically came from you, Omar. I mean, he joined your culture. His culture derived from your culture. And so making money is a culture. You created that culture of making money, having money, getting wealthy, accumulating money. And then he described, to continue to find out how to do that, he created a culture of building a hierarchy, getting codes, you know, all that other stuff, right? Talk about that. Now, you've got to first start building a money-making culture to have everything start to work in your business. Omar?
Well, I mean, even when Willie was a brand new recruit, he'll even tell you he remembers trainings that I did where I would just log online and reflect on the screen my checks. Hey, this is what I got paid last month. And back then it was probably $25,000 a month, whatever it was. I would log on to my checking account. I would literally log on to my checking account and let the whole group of people, look, this is what I have in my checking account. Then I log on to my invest. This is what I have on in my invest. Now, today I wouldn't do that because of identity theft. But in the old days, everybody was a little bit more honest, I guess. But I was always about how much money are you making, okay? It doesn't matter how many recruits and premium you did. If you made $0, it don't matter, right? How much are you getting paid? Which is why I was always talking about get every license, because you want to use every weapon in your arsenal to make money. Like I joined to make money. I joined to get wealthy. I joined to have freedom. It's great that what we do helps people. That's great. But I joined to make money and I joined to get rich. I was out last night with a new rep, training him. We closed 2 sales. I didn't get home till midnight last night. But all I did when we left the house, I went right on Primerica Online and I said, look how much money you made tonight. And I went over comp and I explained where to look at it on Primerica Online. And I made sure he understood that the goal was to make money. And I told his wife, he's a brand new rep, licensed this month. I told his wife, I'm going to help him make between $200 to $2,500 this month part-time. And when he does that, he will give you $500 to spend on you, not on the kids, not on him. You're going to go spend $500 on whatever you want to do. We brought them all to training the other night. And I reminded the wife, and the wife still doesn't believe me. But after last night, he's at about $1,800 in cash flow. And in the next week, we'll easily get him to $2,500. So to me, getting money in his pocket and then giving a little of that money to his wife for her is what is going to keep them motivated in the business. Now, we could have done 20 by 20 and he made $200. And they would not be motivated. So it is about getting paid, getting money. I view money as a report card, you know, like we all want our kids to get A's in school. And if they don't get A's, we question them. Did you work as hard as you could? Did you give it your all? Did you do all your projects and all your homework? Well, they ought to be grading us, right? Hey, Dad, why didn't you bring home 25 grand last month? Did you work as hard as you could? Did you do all your projects? Did you do all your homework? Meaning, did you do the business, right? So it's amazing what a double standard we have as adults, that we expect our children to do so much, right? So much, and yet we do so little, and we don't get held accountable for it. And you ought to be able to hold yourself accountable, but just most people aren't like you and I, Bill, where we did hold ourselves. I still hold myself accountable.
You know, even Art Williams said after he made his first sale with his manager at ITT, they went to a restaurant, had a cup of coffee, and the manager said, "Well, let me show you how much money you made, Art." And it was $375, changed his life. It continued to inspire Art to go out and serve people because of the reward he received for doing it. And on my first sale, I made $75. And I'm telling you, it changed my life. And Art continually talks about the $42,000 he saved the first 2 years. They didn't talk about all the 50 clients he used and how many death claims he paid. He said, I made $42,000, changed my life. We are misrepresenting the power of this economic engine by focusing it's on the crusade. People got to know what they're doing is right. Because frankly, if they don't see a way to make money doing what's right, they're going to be gone. I tell this to people all the time that, you know, if you really want to help people, there's a product out there that's cheaper than ours. It's called no-load term insurance. There's no commission. You don't get paid. But it's cheaper than ours, whether or not that's better. And guess what? There's some mutual funds out there that are called no-load mutual funds. Now, I'm not sure there's better than ours, but it's cheaper than ours. So why don't you go out there and sell no-load term and no-load mutual funds, but don't make any money, but just keep doing it. How long would you do it? You might do it once, twice, but if there's not any financial reward, are we...
Wait, Bill, I would never do it. I would never, not one time would I do that.
Are we kidding ourselves and being, not being honest with ourselves? I love the book, The Wealth Choice by Dennis Kimbro. He's got a whole chapter. It's about the money. For all these entrepreneurs, it's about the money. Talk about that, Omar, and how unless you get over yourself, I'm such a good person, it's not about the money for me, you're not going to build anything great, and you're not going to help a lot of people. Omar?
I mean, listen, I understand growing up where I grew up, Miami, okay, there was a lot of opportunities to make a lot of money that weren't legal, okay? I wouldn't do that. But if it's legal and I can make money, I don't really care what it is, I'm in. As long as it's legal and I'm not harming anybody, I'm in on that, you know? So it is all about the money. When I joined the business, I was broke, I was in debt. I wanted to get out of debt. It was about the money. I wanted a nice car. I wanted a nice house. I wanted things. Nothing wrong with wanting things. Stop. People are like, oh, you're materialistic. Yeah, I like nice things, okay? Everybody, if you're brutally honest, if you had a choice to live where I live or live where you live, generally speaking, you would choose where I live. If you had a choice to drive what I drive or drive what you drive, you would generally choose what I drive, right? So we all like nice things. When I got married and Nick Elise, who's in Primerica, Nick and Becky Elise, told us, go look around. Tell us where you want the wedding, wherever you want the wedding, right? We went to the Boca Raton Resort and Spa in the Cathedral Room. If you ever go there, go in the Cathedral Room. It looks like a beautiful church with the wall of windows, with the view of the Intercoastal. That is where we got married. Could I have got married at the Holiday Inn? Yeah. But did I want to? No. I wanted to get married in a beautiful place. It costs money. Everything costs money, man. And you better want it or you ain't ever going to get it. You'll never attract it unless you like put it out there, right? You got to put it out there. I mean, I just bought this new watch, Bill, $40,000. I've been a
How
little
much?
crazy lately.
How much?
$41,000. Okay. I just always wanted it. You know, you reach a point where as long as you're still investing money, man, we've been averaging, Bill, last month when we went to Japan and we went to Hawaii and we were away a month, I made $180,000. I got home and logged online. I made $180,000. Was I happy? Yes. Right now, did I do the work over the years to deserve the reward? Yes. Don't expect it to come if you're not going to do the work, but it is about the money 100%. You want to get paid. You want to have freedom. You want to provide. We're leaving, Bill, tomorrow morning. You're like, what do you mean you're leaving? You were just on a month vacation. You just went to Disney. I mean, to Japan and Hawaii. Where are you going tomorrow? Disney World. Why? Because I can.
Hey, Omar, you know, one of the things I want you, because you've got a lot of people, there's nothing more that's a pain in the butt to a manager, a family, a spouse, than a person that's not money motivated. Because they're looking for all the answers in how to change this and how to do that. If you're a better manager, Omar, I'd be making more money. The wife's got to work. They won't work. Burden on the kids. They don't, and they won't go. They won't work. And most people think I'm money motivated. How do you determine whether or not you're money motivated, Omar?
I mean, if you're relating it to the business, it's very easy to know who's money motivated. They never miss a training, but they're always out on appointments. They're always out prospecting. They're always trying to bring talent into their business. Those are the guys that are money motivated. It's not the guys that are regulars at training and they don't do nothing else the whole week. They're the professional clappers, I call them. Shooting my screen almost with that. They call me, yay, good job for you. And they're high-fiving everybody else, but they don't go out and they don't prospect and they don't do appointments. And it's easy to tell who's the money motivated guy. The money motivated guy is working, gets a license, keeps working, works on the next license right away, keeps working, works on the next license, has a job. He's calling you at his job. Hey, tonight I'm off at 5 o'clock. I got this lined up at 6 o'clock. I got this lined up at 8 o'clock. The guy that's not money motivated is, well, tonight I got my kid's baseball practice I got to go to, so I can't do appointments today. But I think like next Tuesday, I have a slot to do. And like, I don't spend time with those guys though. Like many, many years ago, I learned I'm not going to waste my time with the wrong people. And people say that's cold and that's mean and that's vicious or whatever. I go, listen, I'm here to make money. So if I'm here to make money, I have to spend time with those that want to make money. That's the only way I make money, to work with others that want to make money. I don't make any money with anybody that's not interested in making money. I mean, it's very easy. I think most people in Primerica waste their time with the wrong people because they're not motivated. They're not money motivated. Let me tell you what I mean. They got one recruit, two recruits. That's it. Those recruits, they don't want to do anything. But since they're not money motivated, they don't go out and recruit more people. They stay trying to get and try to motivate these guys. When you're money motivated, nobody needs to motivate you. You're moving your butt. I got this new guy, Nelson. He's pretty money motivated. I got this new guy, Dennis. He's pretty money motivated. I got this new guy, Javi, Naomi. These are all people that are money motivated, which is why I spend time with them. If not, I'm not spending time with you. You and I, Bill, would not spend time with each other if we were not mutually money motivated. It's just the way it is.
We don't have anything to offer each other.
Yeah.
There's no value. We're just friends, and we don't need other friends. We got enough friends. But talk about this, Omar, and how it's got to be a daily thing. You know, I think back to something you used to tell me, that the first thing in the morning, you'd wake up, you'd stretch, you look over, you see your beautiful wife, and she's sleeping, and you turn over and you go to the telephone and you dial a number. What were you doing?
In the old days, there was an 800 number, 1-800-722-4378, I believe was the number. And you would listen to your checks, and it would tell you, for agent FAY09, a check of $1,122 was cut. A check of $229 was cut. And it was like music to my ears every morning, right? And if there is ever a morning I woke up and I didn't get a check, I was mad as hell. I woke up pissed off that day, right? Now I do the exact thing, just no 800 number. I get my telephone and I log on to Primerica Online, and I go to Daily Blast and I click on cash, and it lists all my checks, and I can look at how many checks I got last night.
See,
I love it. It's like Christmas every day.
And someone asked me, and I think we were a big mistake. We're trying to figure out what Willie is doing that we're not doing. What's he doing? What's he doing? Someone asked me, and I said, he's a lot more money motivated than you are. He's in it for the money. You're in it for all the other reasons that are noble, but don't pay. And so, yeah, let me tell you why Willie makes $6 million, because he wants to.
Actually,
you think Willie will make 10 if he wants to?
He wants to make $12 million, $1 million a month, and he loves to make money. Ferraris, he's got like 8 of them. He's got Rolls Royces. He has a beautiful condominium on Key Biscayne with ocean views. He just put a down payment on a brand new building that's going up on Brickell Key. It's going to be the most beautiful building in Brickell, okay? And he probably got the unit with the best view. He and Lorena were telling me about it, right? They love to make money. They love the good things in life. You know, their old condo, they have a daughter that has 3 kids, married, they're in the business, they're making 25 grand a month, but they can't live where Willie and Lorena were living. So you know what Willie and Lorena did? They just let them move into their old place and live there, because they make money. So they could do that for their kids and let their kids know, hey, look, I'm living in Brickell, you know, I'm living in Key Biscayne. This is unbelievable. They travel to the most amazing places. They do the most amazing things, right? They make money. Their wardrobe, they love clothes, they love cars, they love freedom, but they're also smart. They spend money, they invest money. They have a lot of money saved. When you get to $6 million, $7 million, you can live very well and still invest a lot of money. You know, it's unbelievable. So they love to make money.
Dennis Kimbrough talks about how you create a net worth. And then, like you and I talked about, you're making more money off your investments than you are in the business. That's when you can start splurging. And I believe that number's got to be about 3 million. I think $3 million, my mind, that you know, you're going to get 10% on your money. That's $300,000 a year. No taxes taken out of that because it's growth. Because you're talking about how much money you save. You can never save as much money as your net worth is growing. And it's better because on your money you earn, you got to pay taxes and Social Security and all that stuff. But the money, your net worth is going up. No taxes are taken out of that. And so what happens is your mind has got to be, when I hit a certain number, that's when I'll start releasing some money to do the things of buying the Ferraris and buying this and buying that. That's what he has done. Isn't that what you've done too? It wasn't like you're living in that $800 a month apartment, 2-bedroom. You could have bought a nicer house, but you didn't spend the money till you accumulated it. What was your net worth goal that once you hit it, you could release and start loosening up on some of the money?
Well, I haven't
hit mine yet, by the way.
Yeah, well, that's what I was just gonna tell you is it was in stages, right? So originally I said, we're not gonna buy a house until we have $2 million cash. We have no debt and we have $2 million cash. And then out of that, I'll take $500,000 and use it as a down payment on a house. But not like, not the house that I'm living in today, but it was still like a $1.8 million home. And it was worth 2.8. We just bought it for 1.8. So we did well when we bought it. But it wasn't really until I got, honestly, Bill, to 12-13 million where I started to do that. Like now we got close to $18 million. So if I make 10%, and I've been earning more than that, but let's just use a round number, 10%, that's $1.8 million. Well, that's what I earn in Primerica with my 2 code numbers put together. So I'm earning at 10% equal to what I make in Primerica income. But in Primerica income, I got taxes, I got office staff, I got office rent and living expenses to take out of that. And on a good year, I mean, in 21, the year 21, we made $5.9 million on our income tax returns. And of that, 1.6 million was in Primerica, and the rest was capital gains and dividends we made that year. So, I mean, we made like almost triple what we made in Primerica. So now is when, like, let me just give you the 2-month window, right? It was Olivia's birthday. We brought her a brand new Benz cash. Then we went on our Hawaii and Japan trip. We spent $150 cash. Then I get back, it's my birthday. I buy a Bentley, $400,000 cash. And the next day, son of a gun, my Rolex guy calls me. He says, you know that watch you've been looking for? Man, we just got one. I said, the day after I bought a Bentley, I said, well, I'll take it, $41,000 cash. Now, you look at that, that's about 650 grand. If you take, and this is the way that I look at it, if you take 650 divided by $18 million, that is 3.6% of my liquid net worth. So when my investments grow by 3.6%, probably in the next 90 days, I've replenished every dime that I spent. I replenish it. It's like Bill's rechargeable checking account that he brought up years ago. This is Omar's rechargeable investment accounts, right? I make sure I don't spend too big of a chunk of it at a time, a little bit where I can recuperate it in 2, 3, 4 months, and it's It's like I never spent it, but I got all the stuff. I got all the trip memories that we created with the wife and kid. I have all that, and we recuperated it. So to me, it was like $2 million at first, but then I stayed lean and mean for another 10, 12 years after that. And now, when I got to 12 million, that's when I bought this house. And then, when I get to 25 million, I'm going to have real fun, Bill.
You know, again, you told me about Willie. Why does he like Ferraris? Why does he have so many Ferraris? You can only drive so many Ferraris. Why would he want to buy Ferraris?
He needs one a day. He needs to drive one on Monday, one on Tuesday, one on Wednesday. And he's
Makes money
right.
off of
And
Ferraris.
he has this relationship now. When you make money, when you buy enough Ferraris, see, you, Bill, and me, since we've never owned a brand new Ferrari, we cannot go buy a brand new Ferrari. You cannot buy one. You have to go get a pre-owned Ferrari first and own a couple of those. And then when you want to get rid of them, you can only get rid of them to the Ferrari dealership. Then you build this relationship of trust with the dealership, and then they allow you to purchase a new Ferrari. Well, when you purchase them at new, you're getting them at the price of the dealership that's not over list price. So Willie's pretty intelligent when it comes to these. He buys 800 grand cars, 600 grand cars, and he drives them like 8-9 months. And then the new one comes in and he gets rid of the old one, but he didn't lose any money because Ferraris is the only car. Rolls-Royce, you lose value on. Bentley, you lose value on. Lamborghini, Ferrari, for whatever reason, it's like Rolex watch. You know, you don't lose a value on a Rolex, which is why this is a Rolex watch. But so he makes money, he enjoys it, and the money makes him money. He just attracts more of it. It's awesome.
I talked to a guy one day who loves Rolexes, and he was the one who introduced me to Rolexes. And I said, what's one of the things you appreciate about a Rolex? He said, I go to Europe as an example, and I've got my Rolex on, and for whatever reason, my credit cards don't work, this doesn't work, that doesn't work, nothing works. I can always sell my Rolex. No matter where you go in the world, someone will give you cash for your Rolex. And like you said, that's not a expense. That's a asset that will grow because it's gold.
Yeah.
Again, so, you know, Omar, one of the things that I know, your daughter is how old? 17, 18?
16.
16. And one day, next 7-8 years, she's going to meet somebody. Don't you want him to be money motivated, making money in the right way? Or do you want your daughter married to a dud that wants her to work, that wants her to put the kids in daycare center? Like when I was a kid growing up, please forgive me. I come from the south side of Chicago, and we talked about one day I want to marry a girl, a rich girl whose father owned a liquor store. As bad as that sounds, that's the way we thought back in those days. Doesn't that just bother you that there's some people out there, they don't want to work, they just want to, and nothing wrong with them, they're going to heaven too, but not for my daughter.
Well, Olivia, I believe I've raised the bar and the expectation pretty high. Olivia is very money motivated. She is very money motivated. She wants to make millions and millions of dollars a year. She wants to be richer than me. She said, Dad, I'm going to be richer than you. I'm going to make more money than you are. I said, I hope you do, honey. But the guy that marries her better be money motivated, because if not, he might disappear and nobody will ever know where he went, if you know what I'm saying.
You know, when I went to a Rabbi Lappin session years ago, he used the example that if you break your leg when you're 10 years old, are you gonna limp on that leg for the rest of your life, or are you gonna get it fixed? And we tend to think I am what I am. I'm just not money motivated. And by the way, it's a burden to a spouse. She's sitting there saying, I wish the heck this guy would get money motivated, because I've talked to a lot of RVPs, spouses, and the RVP died. They say to me, I wish he had wanted more, because their life wasn't what they wanted to be. They still had to work, although they were married to RVPs. They didn't live in that. They came and saw our house, and then they go back to the house that they were forced to live in because he wasn't motivated. So talk about that. And if you're not money motivated, you got to go on a austere plan like you have a heart attack and the doctor said, if you don't fix this, you'll be dead in 6 months. You gotta stop fooling around with this thing called I'm not money motivated. Omar?
Well, it's like any problem. If you're a drug addict, if you're an alcoholic, you have to want to stop drinking and stop using alcohol, right? Like, no matter, everybody could try to help you, everybody could try to give you advice. Until you've had enough, you're not going to stop. Well, it's kind of like this. If you're not money motivated, until you've had enough, until you're tired of waking up sick and tired on like when you go to the restaurant and you open the menu and you're reading it from right to left to look at what you can order, like, when are you going to get tired of that? Like, when are you going to get tired of telling your spouse no, telling your children no, we can't do that, we can't afford that, telling yourself no, I can't do that for them, right? When you get tired, like a drug addict, like an alcoholic, then and only then will you go seek what you need to change, right? That you plug into this every month. We appreciate it. It's great. Me and Bill would still have these talks on the telephone. We just wouldn't do it Zoom. But we don't care if you're on or not, right? You have to want to change or you're not going to change. So I know you're watching this hoping it will help you change, but it's way more than that. It has to come within. It has to be inner. I was in Primerica and I made 80 grand one year, way back, 1999. And our upline was closing his office. And pretty much, Bill, he had a little half-hour meeting with the RVPs. He said, in 90 days, our lease runs out. I'm giving you notice that I'm not renewing the lease. So you all got to go out on your own. Nobody can move with me. You're on your own. Good luck. Woo! Did that change my everything? Because now at 80 grand, paying him $500 a month rent wasn't a problem. But now I had to go get my own office. So let me just run this through so you could see the way my brain reverted to a poverty and scarcity mentality briefly. I went looking at offices, and any decent office would have cost me at the time $4 grand a month. And I'm talking with internet, telephones, rent, light bill, phone bill, all that. $4 grand a month if you're making 80 grand a year, okay, that's a big chunk of your money. So my scarcity mentality, this is the way I originally thought. Well, I have a house. I had owned a townhouse. I could get rid of my townhouse. I had about 50 grand worth of equity. I could take that. I could move home with my mom. And I could take that cash and that would take care of a year of office expenses, the equity of the house, and I could try to build up my business that way. Can you believe I was going to move back with mom? Like, that was my initial reaction. And then I caught myself. I said, what are you thinking? All you got to do is go make more money. That's all. And that year, and I didn't get rid of my townhouse, kept my townhouse, went to work. I had my biggest recruiting year I ever had. And I went from 80,000 to 215 in 12 months. So I not only doubled my money, it was like 2.5 times my income. And I actually got a roommate not to live with me at home, another RVP to move in with me in the office. So my overhead was $2,000. That was a smart decision. And then I grew my income to 215. So I went to 215. My overhead was only 2 grand. And I invested that year 110 grand, which was a lot of money to me then. So it was just a switch. But my initial scarcity mentality, my initial weakness in that train of thought I caught it. Are you catching when you're doing decisions of scarcity and weakness? Are you catching it, or are you totally missing it? If you're not aware of it, you're not able to change it. I'll give you an example. We're going on a trip with one of our friends. I love this guy. He makes money, but he's still got a scarcity mentality. So we needed to stay at a place 2 extra nights. So I said, well, we'll just call the resort we're at and we'll stay there 2 extra nights. He says, well, would you rather do that, or would you rather go to another hotel that's less? I said, what? I'm not moving my luggage. I'm staying in one spot. I said, if you can't play with the big boys and you can't hang with me, you got to stay at the same place. So anyways, he had a brief moment of scarcity, and I had to slap him around a little bit, but he got it. So it's all in our minds. It's the way
And
you
I fight it myself, Omar. I mean, it's just when you've been bred that way and you've been programmed that way for mediocrity program. So talk about the culture that you're creating in the mind of your people to get them to be money motivated like you are. Is it just you tell them the stories and either get it or don't get it? Is there anything you think you can do to initiate and inspire people to make more money other than what you've been doing?
I mean, number one, be the example. Number two, tell the stories. I mean, I am probably the most transparent leader in the company, I would tell you. Because if you asked me any question related to my personal finances, I would tell you. I don't know very many other leaders that would do. I mean, I would literally log online, let you look at it, because not to brag, but to say, look, I did it, you can too, right? So I'm very transparent. I tell the stories. I tell the moments of weakness. I talk about my bad decisions like I just did. That scarcity mentality creeps in every once in a while, And then there was, gosh darn it, what was this book? T. Harv Eker's book. I can't remember the name of it, but
Yeah. Millionaire Mind.
Millionaire Mindset, I think, or the Secrets of a Millionaire Mind. And so I actually gathered a group of leadership in our hierarchy, and I called it the next generation. And we would meet once a month. And one of the requirements to stay in the group was reading that book. And so we all read the book, and then we all went to his Millionaire Mindset weekend, right? Now, I told them all, when we go there, you're not there to order his $9,000 coaching sessions. The only thing you can buy there is his book, because he'll autograph it for you. That's it. But it was a great weekend where a lot of people learned and just how the brain thinks, thermometer, mental money thermometer. Everybody has one. There's a temperature that everybody's comfortable at. When I go to sleep, I like it cold, 69 degrees. That's the way I sleep, right? So if it's 1 degree warmer, I can tell. My wife's like, how do you know it's 1 degree warmer? I can tell, right? So it's like that with your income and your money, right? Most people have that comfort temperature. I made 12,000, I'm good this month. I made 12, or if they made 25,000 in their mind, I'm good this month and next month. Well, I didn't do that. If I made 25,000 and I needed 12 at the end of the month, I invested all of it. The minute it went in the investment account, I was never taking it out again, no matter what. People tell me, Bill, I got $1 million. Where's it at? The money market account. Well, then that's bad, because it's there because if in case you want to take it, you can take it, right? That is a scarcity mentality. Invest it. Put it in the market. Leave it alone. Treat it like you wasted it, like you spent the money. So anyways, those were the things that I did. I would talk about shower, you know, my morning shower story that's now world renowned all over Primerica, right? So I had these glass doors and I go in the shower when I was a newlywed, and my wife's like, man, you're in the shower an awful long time. What are you doing in there? I said, hey, whenever you want to come in, baby, you know, we're married. It's okay. So, but I would literally write on the glass door, it would steam up, and I'd write all the goals, you know, what I was going to do, how much money I was going to make, what kind of hierarchy I was going to build. And I would draw it with my finger on the glass, and I look at it, and then the steam would come up, cover it up, and then I do it again. And it was my way to every day start right. And if you ask vice presidents of mine, like the oldest ones that were with me the longest, Wayne, Joe, Rick, Evelyn, PJ, I'd write down my goals all the time. Hey, PJ, this is what we're going to do in the next 3 years. Let me write it down for you. And I would write it down right now. And I'd write it down for my wife all the time. Why? Accountability. I'm not going to tell my wife something that I'm going to do and then not do it. Right. So I would do that. You could, you know, one of these O&Os, Bill, you should get Danielle on here. You could do the O&D show, Orender and Danielle show, and you'll see one of the things in the PowerPoint that you gave me this week was don't get divorced, right? You want to crush your net worth, get divorced. You want to really crush it multiple times, get divorced multiple times. But rather than looking at it like a negative, look at it as a positive. You want to grow your net worth multiple times, marry the right person, right? Marry the right person. Danielle never, ever, ever pressured me to like do what everybody else was doing, right? Well, everybody else has big houses and we make 800,000, honey. Why don't we have a big house? She understood the game plan. One reason she understood the game plan is I told it to her all over and over and over and over again. But her growing up in Primerica, her parents are Nick and Becky Elise, and you know, growing up in Primerica, I always heard how frugal Nick was, how he'd bring his lunch in a brown bag to the office. He'd slice up an apple or a banana and an orange. That was his lunch. And he says only wimps eat lunch, you know, and so he'd eat an apple or like whatever. And I was like, man, that guy, he must have a lot of money because he don't spend any money, right? But now look at the way the tides have turned. He'll turn 80 next year. So he and Becky called me yesterday. He said, Omar, I've been thinking about this for our 80th birthday. So I was expecting for our 80th birthday, I would like X or whatever, right? He says, for our 80th birthday, we would like to take you, Danielle, and the kids, Mark, Rita, and the other kids, his other grandkids, all to Italy to do a cruise. And we just wanted to know if that was all right with you. I said, wait. So you're going to pay for everything? He said, we're paying for everything. I go, why would I not be all right with that? I said, hell yeah, I'm in. He says, well, don't you want to talk to your wife about it? I said, no, we are in. If you're paying and we're going on a cruise in the Mediterranean, I'm in. So it's crazy. And I want to tell you this story. Yesterday, we went to look at Brady's 12th grade pictures. So like 2 weeks ago, he went into this studio that the school contracts, and they do all these different pictures of him in different outfits. And, you know, one he's in his golf outfit, and one he's in a tuxedo, and one he's in all different kind of outfits. So you go there and we're looking at all the proofs. And so there's this big screen, you're in leather couches. I mean, I just knew this is going to be expensive, right? So we're there, and they took like 100 pictures, and we narrowed it down to like 45 or whatever the number was. Great picture. I mean, just amazing the way they captured the essence of Brady. Really, it was awesome. And then they give you the packages, right? The packages start as little as $500. But of course, $500 is for the poor people because it's like 2 portraits and that's it, right? So when you get to the package I bought, the ultimate package, they called it, right? You get all this stuff. You get an album of all his pictures. You get 320 by 30 pictures. You get albums for grandma and grandpa, and $6,000. $6,000. And I told the lady, oh, the lady loved us, of course, because we are the ultimate package, right? Then I told her, I said, hey, just so you know, we'll be back next year with Olivia. So, you know, chalk us up to lock us in to the price today. So when you have increases, at least give me a little discount next year. $6,000. And then I leave and Nick calls me and tells me they want to bring us to a cruise. So I said, okay, well then the cruise really just cost me $6,000. It just washed anyway. It's a funny story.
You know, I was thinking about, you heard me tell the story. We just came back from a Disney cruise, 18 of us. And someone said, what did that cost? Of course, I don't tell people what things cost, but in reality is I don't know. Because things that create a memory are priceless. And it doesn't make any difference what it costs because I know the memories we're going to create. Because like when you went to Japan, that was memories you bought. You didn't buy a thing. You bought memories that'll never go away. Yeah, you can buy the pictures and put it in an album of the trip. But, you know, I had a chance last week to be with Art Williams for a little bit. And he called me up and he said, let's visit this Friday. We already had lunch with him. And I thought, why would he want to talk to me? Right. And we're not buddy. You know, we've written books on that, but it hit me. It's only with me and a very, very few others that have the same memories he has. And he cannot connect with people that don't have his memories. And so what you're doing with your family, you're not buying a trip. What Nick and his wife are doing, they're not buying a trip. They're buying the memories of you all together that will never go away. And that is priceless. And how many people don't get financially independent and wealthy enough because it costs too much and they never get the memories. As an example, if you hadn't been on that trip to Japan, what would you have done instead? Live your normal life. You would have no memories of that week or 10 days, 2 weeks. But now you got the memories, like all of us have the memories of this Disney trip. And that's the legacy I want to create in my family, memories. And by the way, I read where if you spend money on things, it could be a bad investment, but you never, ever waste money creating memories unless you have to go into debt for it. Don't do that. But when you create memories for your children and your family, it's always worthwhile money.
Yeah, all this, you know, our Disney Club, VIP Club 33, you know, every year, you got to write a check every year. And every year we've used it less and less because the kids are older and they're in high school and they got their lives and all that kind of stuff. And everybody asked me, was it worth to keep it then if you're only using it a couple times a year? I said, listen, the couple times a year we use it create amazing memories. But the reason that I'll renew it forever is the memories we've already created with it, but the memories we will create with our grandchildren one day. And if you let it go, you're never getting it again. Like right now, that club I'm in, there's like a 12-year wait list. And the only way you get on, they don't even call it, this is what they told me. We don't call it a wait list. A wait list assumes that you'll get in. You're waiting to get in. This is a list. How do you get in? Somebody's got to die and not renew. That's it. And pretty much, I would tell you, everybody that's in is pretty much like me, that they're going to renew till the day I die. I'm renewing. And then my wife's renewing, because our grandkids, and I mean, it's going to be the memories is why we do it. So that's absolutely correct. And that's why I got Brady golf lessons, and he's a real good golfer now. And that stuff we could do for the rest of our lives. I could play golf not as well as him when I'm 80, but that's still something you could do with your kid and create some memories. My brother turns 50 years old next week, and he gave me one of the greatest gifts anybody's ever given me. I wish that I had it here. It was an album, a photo album of he named it Growing Up with Big O. And it was pictures of he and I growing up. We were little kids, Christmas times, together, sleeping in bed together, playing video games together, just our lives growing up. Like later on, he was my best man. I was his. So I was like, man, how do I top that? Because all the pictures that I would use in his album, if I were to do it, are already in the album. He has it already. So he loves golf. I love golf. So I'm going to bring him to Pebble Beach. To me, that's the most beautiful place you can play golf in the United States of America. It's very expensive. Every round of golf is like $1,000. He would never do that on his own. We're going to stay at the best room. We're going to go out, just he and I, and it'll probably cost, I don't know, 25 grand. We'll fly first class, but I'm buying the memories. It's the memories. It's really important to understand money's just not money. It's so much more. If you look at health, if you get sick, I mean, Hector's wife just passed January 4th. He got 18 years more with her because of money. Cindy Kicklighter, our dear friend, had enough money to go get treatments for cancer in Mexico, and it prolonged her life. I don't know the exact number of years, but it was long enough where her little kids were not little anymore when Cindy passed. So it's just not Bentleys and Rolls Royces and cars, right? It's so much more. It's your kids need anything, you could give it to them. It's their dream weddings. It's their college education. It's their, I mean, Brady and Liv have gone to private Christian schools their whole lives. I don't know. It's more than what you think it is. And if you really understood it, you would fight like crazy to get it.
When my mom and dad died, my sister never married, and she took care of them in their older ages and their passing. And before my mom passed, she said, of course, we got the will set up, and they had a house, paid for, probably worth $250,000. And I said, I don't want any of that. I mean, give it to her. I don't need any of that. Give it to her. And talk about giving person a peace of mind is to a person that is not where you are financially and it would worry about money one day. Now who doesn't have to worry about money because you don't need it. Like one Dennis Kimbrough said, be one less broke person in this world. That's how you help other people. To get one less person to have to take care of in this country. I want to end on this. The word privilege has been abused and manipulated, sadly. Certain people they're privileged people. And the thing I was thinking about with my grandsons last week when we were at the Highlands in North Carolina, they were able to walk into a specialized country club that only certain people could get in. So it's very exclusive. They just walk in, they can play all the golf they want. They just sign my number of my member number and all that stuff, Omar. And I thought, I want my children's children to feel the joy of having privilege in their life and an exclusive life that will give them some sort of standards in their life. So talk about that, how your children are privileged, but that privilege is earned from all the work you did, and they're riding on your shoulders with it. And they live an exclusive life, like 33, going on these trips. Other people can't go, getting on an airplane, sitting in first class, which the rest of the people can't afford. And how that is a good blessing to your children and children's children.
They got brand new cars when they turned 16. And what was most important wasn't that they were brand new cars, was that they were safe. When I was old enough, I got like a clunker, and I was not safe. I mean, I could have died any day in that car. And so I wanted to make sure, and I knew it. I knew that I could have died any day in that car, because when you drive a car like that, you can know that, you feel it. So giving them new cars isn't just to brag about, I got my kid a new car. It was to know that when they're out there and the world is crazy, they're safer than they would have been. That they're just getting to the age they realize how blessed they are. I mean, they've always been humble kids. I mean, really good kids, but like, I'd say in the last year to 2 years, they really understand. We brought them with us to the convention, first time ever, Bill. They wanted to come. So they got to see me on stage, on the big stage, 50,000 people. And they got to see Dad. It's crazy. Everybody wants your picture. Everybody wants your autograph, because at home, I'm just Dad. You know, they got to see why we're rich. They got to see so many people came up to us and told the kids, your dad changed my life. You don't understand how great your dad is. You know, and all of you guys that walked up to me and told me how you love the O&O show, I appreciate that too. But my kids watched all that. And so they kind of are, you know, they're still kids, but they're kind of getting the grasp of, this is big. And that I'm not done, that I'm going to make it bigger, so that hopefully one day they come to work with me. That's my hope. Like, tell me this, if you were brutally honest, would you want your child doing what you do for a living? And I would tell you 99.9999% of the population would tell you not only no, hell no. You ask me and Bill, would you want your children doing what you do and changing the lives and just living the way? Yes, I pray for it.
You know, Omar, and on this, you made your money, made big money, you're financially independent, and your hierarchy was honored on stage, and all those people's lives were drastically changed. You know, we're not talking about like tens of thousands of dollars. We're talking about tens of millions of dollars. You got what, $6 million earners? One $6 million earner, one $3 million, and one $2 million.
We have $8 million earners right now, and the 9th one is a direct of mine. Actually, he ought to cross in the next 2 months. So we will have $9 million earners, ranging from $1 million to 6.8.
Again, are you worth the money you're making? Well, look at the value you brought. You know, totally. Your team is paying probably $10 to $15 million a year in taxes. So the federal government's got to be helped. You're paying your fair share. Thank you very much, Washington. And those people, all they want is your money. They don't want to do anything. The point is, you had to sit there with pride saying, because I'm money motivated, look at what happened. And we're not talking about the death claims that are paid and will be paid. Omar, last thought?
I think I'm underpaid. I think you're underpaid. Okay, which is why I'm out last night till midnight, still growing my business, so I can maybe one day catch up to the value I brought the company. I think, since I was recruited in 1996, there's nobody that's built a bigger hierarchy in the company than us, and who grew the code movement. I mean, I was the original guy on stage. Nobody talked about it. I was the guy talking about it. Now you look at almost every leader's up there talking about it, and that's why we're at 145,000 codes in the company, and we'll break through 200,000 in the next couple of years. I started a movement, and then obviously the great leaders around me took it, to the next level, and we're all changing the company, and we're changing the world. And why don't you want to be a part of it? Why don't you want to be not just a speck, but a bigger part of that? I say work hard until you can walk in a room and you don't need to introduce yourself because everybody knows who you are. I remember going to the convention and nobody knowing who I was, and vast difference. Brady was laughing on the last night. I was just exhausted of pictures and autographs, and I do it with a good heart, but I was tired. I was physically tired. So we're walking backstage, and there's one way to exit and there's another way to exit, and the right way was a much longer walk. I said, this way, this way, this way. Brady's like, Dad, this is weird. I said, what? He says, you usually walk towards the people. You're walking away. I said, son, I'm tired. I got to get to our hotel room undetected somehow.
Well, the homework is, yeah. Well,
Yeah, so be a part of it, guys. Be a part of it.
Our next Omar Money Quest is August the 16th, Friday, August the 16th, same time, 9 o'clock Central, 10 o'clock Eastern time. Omar, thank you very much. Tony,
Have a good time. Thank you, Bill.
God bless everyone. Go out and make some money. Bye.
Make lots of money.
And folks, that's your secret password. Email the email that's on the chat. Don't put it in the chat. Email me this secret password. Do not take a picture of it and make me look at it. There's 562 of you and there's one of me. So there's your secret password. Send it to the email that's in the chat and you guys will get a copy of this. Thank you, everyone. See you guys in August 16th.